Call to order the Historic Landmarks Commission meeting of January 14th, 2026. We will start with the election of officers. The floor is now open for nominations of chairman, and there's no need for a second. If there's more than one nomination, we'll do a vote. Otherwise, we'll do a viva voce. So I am now opening the floor for nominations.
Just a point.
Anthony Grumbine.
Excuse me, just a point of order. Should we take roll first?
Oh, good call. Let's do that first.
Okay, ready? Okay, thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Grumbine.
Present.
Commissioner Uli.
Present.
Commissioner Butler.
Here.
Commissioner Dorden.
Present.
Commissioner Drury. So he's not here anymore. Commissioner Ensberg. I didn't edit this list. Commissioner Ensberg.
Present.
Commissioner Lenvik.
Present.
Commissioner Lodge.
Here.
And Commissioner McClure.
Yes.
We have quorum. Thank you.
All right, now the first order of business is the election of officers. So the floor is now open to nominations for the office of chairman.
I nominate Anthony Grumbine.
Does Mr.
chair.
Grumbine
Oh, yeah.
accept?
I
For
accept. Thank you.
All right. And if there are no more nominations, we will have a viva voce. All those in favor of electing Anthony Grumbine as chairman, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Anthony Grumbine is now the chair, and then I'll go
Good
through.
luck.
We'll now proceed with the elections.
I nominate Robert Uli as vice chair.
Vice chair, thank you.
All right.
I'll accept.
All right, and hearing no other nominations, we will have a viva voce vote. All those in favor of electing Robert Uli as vice chairman, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
All right, and with that, I will turn the meeting back over to Anthony Grumbine as our new chair.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right.
Presentation of the mallet.
Yeah. You did a good job whacking that one.
And then immediately misspelled.
That's okay. It's all about the gavel. All right. Okay, so we are then on to, sorry, this was the consent agenda. All right, so,
Here.
oh, thanks for the cheat. Okay, so 2026 appointment of consent review representatives and subcommittees. So, currently, Commissioner Uli and Commissioner McClure are, or as of for last year, and so I would at least start with that. Are they both still interested, willing and able, or at least willing?
I don't know if we're able, but I'm willing.
All right, great. Then we have, and then do we have, is there a designated backup? But there is not, is there?
If you take a look at the screen, I've got our current
Okay,
roster for
great.
subcommittees up there. We have two alternates. The alternate for architecture is Commissioner Lenvik, and the alternate for landscape is Commissioner Butler.
Okay. And so to those commissioners, are you both still good with that? And is there anyone else?
I'm good with that yet.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion on it? All right, we'll stick with our current slate for that, for consent. All right, so to the sign committee, Commissioner Drury is no longer on, and Commissioner Ensberg, you were the alternate. Are you okay with bumping to the main, or would you like to stay the alternate and get someone else in there for the main?
I'm okay to go to the main if there is an alternate.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, great. And I think we definitely want an alternate as a backup. So is there anyone that's willing to go for the alternate for sign committee?
I will.
Okay. And I think in general, how many sign committee meetings has Commissioner Drury been on? Usually it's fairly light, right? In a year.
Correct, Mr. Chair. So the sign committee representative is an alternate sign committee member in itself, so they're only called in if there's a controversial or historic sign. So Commissioner Dorden would be like the alternate to the alternate. And I believe Commissioner Ensberg has actually attended more sign committee hearings this year than Commissioner Drury did last year. So
Okay. So you're a pro now.
yeah,
You're a veteran.
she's familiar.
Well, I think too that they go to, there's somebody from ABR, I think that they go to first and then they,
It depends if the
So-
sign is in El Pueblo Viejo or on a historic
Okay,
resource.
Okay, great. Okay, so good. It looks like we're covered for that. So let's go to subcommittees. So designations, we have Commissioner Jordan, Uli, Lenvik, McClure, and then Drury. And Drury is alternate and is no longer here. So first to those, the current commissioners, are you all good with staying on the designation?
Yes.
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 All right, great. And then, so alternate, can we have an alternate for designations? Is there anyone that would like to be an alternate for designations?
I'll,
You'll volunteer, Commissioner Butler? Okay, okay.
yeah, I'll be the alternate, thank you.
And, let's see. Well, and I guess the other is Commissioner Lodge. Are
Yeah.
you wanting to be, I think, maybe because of the
Any of
time that you came in, because of the time that you came in, it might have been already selected, so maybe. But are you wanting to be on any subcommittees? And if so, is there a particular one, even as alternates to be on? And with the most obvious ones being the ones that Commissioner Drury was on. The only one left is the Plaza de la Guerra. Would
Well,
you,
that is,
I think you
no
ought to,
longer exists.
and actually to that point, for the ad hoc subcommittees, should we be keeping that on or not, or just for now, until there's something official?
I have a comment about objective design standards. That was an ad hoc committee. It has finished its work, and the objective design and development standards have been accepted by the city. So I suggest striking
That.
that subcommittee.
I would
Okay,
agree.
that's a good point. Okay, that makes sense. I think let's do that.
Yeah.
And then, so the other ad hoc subcommittees are State Street Advisory, Plaza de la Guerra, and then the State Street Interim Working Group. So I guess to staff, is there any of these that we should be striking, or should we just hold for now and then until it's officially acted on one way or the other by the city?
I would recommend holding off on striking them for now, as I don't know if the State Street Advisory Committee or the Plaza de la Guerra Design Subcommittee has been disbanded. Obviously, the State Street Interim Working Group is still very active, but the other two, I don't know if those are still active. I can confirm with the Design Review Supervisor.
Okay, and in that case, why don't we just make it, we'll decide now as if they are still active, and if they get disbanded, or we hear that they are now disbanded, we can always just remove it, the whole group. So, okay, for the sake of selection, Commissioner Lodge, would you be up for swapping out with Commissioner Drury for the Plaza de la Guerra design, if it happens to
Yeah,
not
I was on it for the last two meetings, so as a planning commissioner. So, but that would be fine, but I'm pretty convinced that,
be? Okay,
they're on to actually building it.
okay. So we'll do it for now, and then if we need to end up erasing it, then we erase it. Okay, great. All right, yeah, Commissioner Lembeck.
the State Street Advisory Committee, I'm not sure it's still in existence, but it probably is. In any case, that appointment was by the city council.
Yeah,
So when they void that committee, then it'll go away.
Yeah, perfect.
It won't void you. It will just
Well-
void the committee.
You'll still be here.
I'll be here.
All right, so we've covered all but State Street Interim Working Group, so that's myself, Commissioner Ensberg, and Commissioner McClure. Are both of you still good with that? And I'm still good with that as well. If there is someone else that would like to be on it, I would be open for that and, as well, and even substituting out my spot if there's a reason. But it's been pretty active, and I think it's been actually quite successful in getting a lot of stuff done. So especially thanks to Commissioner Ensberg and Commissioner McClure as well. But I've done the least, so it's the least helpful. So is there so Commissioner Ensberg and McClure, you guys are both okay with staying on? Okay, great. And then is there anyone else that really wants to be on? Or actually as an alternate? We should have an alternate, actually. That would be a good idea, especially because there has been times where, especially myself, that I haven't been able to make a meeting or not, and it would be good to have that additional thing. So is there anyone that wants to be on as part of the alternate for that? Commissioner Lodge, maybe?
Okay.
Would you be up for that? Okay. Great. All right.
Super fun committee.
Yeah. Actually, it's a little fun.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Thank you, Commissioner Lodge.
So,
So
interim-
alternate for State Street
interim is
interim
Lodge.
is Commissioner Lodge. Great. And, okay, so that looks good. Are we missing any ad hoc subcommittees? Anyone could think of? Okay, all right. So I guess that fleshes out our slate of commissioners for everything. Do we need a vote on it, or is that just appointed and we're good?
I do think we take a vote to approve the subcommittee appointments.
I just have a comment, if I might. Shouldn't sign committee be underneath subcommittees?
Sign committee is not a subcommittee, it's a separate review board. So-
But with respect to us, it's a subcommittee.
Well, this is all under the subcommittee.
It just looks odd.
We can,
Anyway.
we can edit it to your taste if you
All
like.
right.
Maybe look into that and see.
Oh, they did. And then Jasper just confirmed that we don't need to take a vote on the subcommittee
Okay,
appointments,
great.
so.
Awesome. Okay, great. So we've got that, our appointments. And so now we can go on to item C, which is public comment. So any member of the public may address the commission for up to 2 minutes on any subject within our jurisdiction that is not scheduled on this agenda for public discussion. So anyone that wants to have public comment, but not on anything in our current agenda, not on any items 1 through 3. So is there anyone in the room?
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. At this time, I don't have any speaker slips for in-person public comment under general, though if anyone in the room would like to speak, under general, you can approach the podium in front of me at this time. But I'm not seeing any movement towards the podium. I will just remind the room that if anyone wants to speak under any item on this agenda, that you can fill out a speaker slip, which is on the pink clipboard that's sitting on the binder over there. And you can fill out one of those slips and bring it up to me, and I'll call your name under that item. But I will move to virtual participation, which I do see. We have one participant with their hand raised. So Eric Cardenas, I'm going to let you speak. You should be able to unmute now.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes,
All right, I don't think I'll be seen though, is that correct?
correct.
Okay, great. Here we go. I have 2 minutes. Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you so much for hosting us this first meeting of the year. My name is Eric Cardenas. I'm the Director of Impact and Advocacy at Santa Barbara Botanic Garden. And I just wanted to pop in here. As you recall, last year at your last meeting of the year, we heard a discussion item around getting native plants on the 1200 block of State Street. You received a letter from the Botanic Garden supporting that pilot project, which is being done in conjunction with another organization, Friends of State Street, and in partnership with the city of Santa Barbara. So I just wanted to pop in and say thank you for your support of that project. Last month on December 6th, we put about 200 native plants in the ground on the 1200 block. We had 40 volunteers. We knocked out the project in about 5 hours, and it's been a huge success. The plants are doing really well. We had a really nice rain, as we all remember. We had some storms pretty much immediately after we planted those. They survived the rains. They're looking great. And in the planter beds, we actually have some signage about the partnership, talking very briefly about what's happening on that block. But there's a QR code that leads to a survey, a 4-question survey. The responses to that survey have been great. We have 59 responses in the last month, which is surprising, I think, but good. And I just wanted to let you know that of the 59 respondents, 97% love the project. 97% want to see more plants and projects like this on State Street. 88% would consider planting native plants in their own neighborhood or homes if given the appropriate tools and resources. And of the 59 respondents, 85% were local, 15% were visitors. Again, it's only 59 responses, but it does start to provide us some data. And by and large, we've heard nothing but really positive reviews in response to this project. So again, on behalf of Botanic Garden, I just wanted to say thank you for your leadership on this. We'd love to come back and give you an update in 6 months on how this thing is going. And at the end of the day, I'd love to see more of this on other parts of State Street and the rest of the city. So if you have any questions, I'm here. Otherwise, thank you for your time and for your support.
All right.
Thank you. With that, we do not have any more participants online, and we did not receive any written correspondence under general, so I'll give it back to you.
All right, thank you. And then just because this is public comment general and not a specific, it's not agendized, we're not going to be able to get into a discussion on it, but I did want to thank the Botanic Garden for all their help and work, Friends of State Street and the State Street Subcommittee for all their work on this as well. And yeah, we look forward to updates as we go along and encourage all the board commissioners to go and check it out for themselves as well and see things. So as we go forward with the pilot project. So, all right. And so that finishes public comment. So now we'll close public comment and come to the commission for item D, approval of the minutes of the Historic Landmarks Commission meeting of December 17th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second, Commissioner Butler. All right, any discussions, edits, et cetera? All right, not hearing any. We have the motion, so let's have a roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. I'll begin with Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Commissioner Dorden,
Yes.
Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvik,
Yes.
Commissioner McClure,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli,
Yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. On to item E, approval of the minutes of the Historic Landmarks Commission meeting of December 17th. Let's see, consent, sorry, I missed the consent meeting of December 17th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Lenvik. We have a motion and a second. Under discussion, any discussion about the consent calendar meeting? All right, not hearing any. Let's have a roll call vote.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvik,
Yes.
Commissioner McClure,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorden,
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli,
Yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, on to item F, ratification of action taken on the consent calendar for today, January 14th, 2026.
Motion to ratify.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner, tie goes to the landscape architect, Commissioner McClure. And motion and a second, under discussion, to staff now for summary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item A was 117 East Ortega Street, which received final approval with the condition that detail 1 on sheet A 9.1 and associated details should show a board, and the comment that the plans substantially conform to the plans that received project design approval on January 15th, 2025, which is when the project was last reviewed. And item B was 2117 State Street, which received project design approval with the appropriate findings. And that is all for consent.
All right, thank you. All right, so any discussion from the commission or questions? All right, hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Lenvik,
Yes.
Commissioner McClure,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorden,
Yes.
Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli,
Yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so now we are on to item G, announcements, requests by applicants for continuances and withdrawals, future agenda items, and appeals.
No announcements from staff at this time.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I must
Commissioner.
leave at 5 p.m.
Okay, and actually I have a similar, I'd be ideal 4:30, but at latest 5 for me. But considering our agenda, I don't think that'll be an issue.
Well, you don't know that.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Chair Grumbine?
Yes.
I need also to leave by 4, but
Okay.
hopefully we'll be done before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
earlier?
Yeah. Everybody else good? Okay. Other announcements, et cetera? All right. Let's go on to item H, subcommittee reports.
Nothing from designations.
Okay. At least since last time. to report. Yeah. Anyone else?
Chair Grumbine?
Yes.
We do have, for the State Street Interim Working Group, the Figueroa, West Figueroa Paseo. There is a meeting that, we got an email from Sarah Clark about a meeting to move that project forward, And I think it's just in the loop right now, trying to figure out when everybody can meet, but it should be coming up soon. So, and we'll be reviewing the plans and the numbers that they got for the project. So it's exciting to think of it to move forward.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, any other subcommittee reports? All right, that's item H. So let's roll into item 1, and we are 7 minutes early, but we can still have the item. So this is a miscellaneous item. It's Certified Local Government 2024-2025 Annual Report. Will be given by our Heidi Riddell, and review and approve the Certified Local Government Annual Report as required by the California Office of Historic Preservation. So with that,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do not have Nicole's expertise on the Certified Local Government Report, but she prepared this before she departed. So between October 1st, 2024 and September 30th of 2025, the Historic Landmarks Commission designated 11 structures of merit. There were 16 additions to the Historic Resources Inventory, which it will soon be renamed the local Register of Historic Places. There were 7 new Mills Act applications, and 62 projects on historic resources came before the board. So that's just a summary of the report that we sent to the certified local government. I also have it here for your review, and I will do my best to answer any questions.
all right.
And then we can also do public comment for it as well.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so if that completes your presentation, we'll go to public comment.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. At this time, I don't have any speaker slips for this item. If anyone in the room would like to speak under this item, you can approach the podium at this time. But I'm not seeing any movement. We do not have anyone online with us, and we did not receive any written correspondence for this item, so I'll give it back to you.
All right. To the commission for any questions about the...
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair,
Yep.
can you put that slide back up, my dear? I didn't get, okay, the last item, 62 projects on historic resources. So that was just kind of all encompassing.
Well, that wouldn't include any projects that were in historic districts only, but are not historic resources. So you do see quite a few projects that are not designated resources, but they're just in EPV or.
Right.
So we basically, it's 62 projects came before us in some way, shape, or form during that year.
Specific as, just,
Correct.
thank
Yes.
you. Thank you, okay.
It's a lot of projects. That's good. All right, any other questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to accept and approve certified local government report.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Under discussion. Any further discussion?
Chair,
Commissioner Ensberg?
I just want to say, good job.
Nice. We can pat ourselves on the back. All right. Okay, let's have a roll call vote.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner McClure,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorden,
Yes,
Commissioner Ensberg,
Yes,
Commissioner Lenvik,
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli,
Yes.
and Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so we are officially 14 minutes early. We're doing good this year. So do we have to wait for 4 minutes before we can see this item, or is it 15 minutes?
I think it's 15 minutes.
Okay, so
so
is
we can
the
start
applicant all set to go? Okay, great. We'll get an early jump on it. So we'll go to item 2. This is a new item for concept review. It's 1501 Franceschi Road. This is designated a structure of merit. The Franceschi residence was constructed in 1905. Franceschi Park itself is also historically significant. The proposal to demolish the Franceschi house and replace it with an interpretive garden terrace in its footprint per city council recommendation. Project includes salvage of commemorative features, construction of a new accessible parking lot, retaining walls, accessible pathways, and interpretive signage and landscaping, replacement of the circular plaza west of the house, and improvements to the existing view perch. The removal of 7 trees has been approved by the Parks and Recreation Committee with the condition that 17 new trees be planted on site. The project seeks to safely restore public access to the park, increase its sustainability and resilience, and provide historical value to the community by commemorating the site's historical significance. The project received a pre-application consultation from the Historic Landmarks Commission on August 14th, 2024. And no final appealable decision will take place at this hearing. Project compatibility findings, major alteration findings, and demolition findings will be required for project design approval. There was a historic structure sites report from 2003, and for the site as well, 2003. All right, so with that, welcome. And if you can introduce yourselves for the record, we'll go to staff, and then we'll have the presentation, which can be up to 15 minutes, or if needed, we can do longer, but because of the complexity of the project, if needed.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Vice Chair House.
Vice
Chair Uli.
Well, we were often confused. Just a matter of disclosure, I'm on the Pearl Chase Board, who has a long history and interest in the project, but I just wanted to disclose that I'm on that board.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. And then also, just as a point of clarification, since it was a one-time review for the last time, even though some of the commissioners commissioner may have not been on there, or I wasn't there, but I had watched the video and I watched it again just for an extra refresh. But it's a new application, so everyone can ask questions and comments and vote. So, all right, just as a point of clarity. Okay, great. And with that, I'll go to staff.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. Just a few points to frame your review today. The project is currently in its second round of completeness review. The applicant team is here today to get your comments on the appropriateness of the site improvements as it relates to the findings that you'll need to make later on, in addition to any other comments you may have. And this is so that they can work on your comments while they also work on comments from the land development team. And then lastly, just a note that once the application is able to be deemed complete, that is when the environmental review process will begin. This project will need to go through a CEQA process due to the proposed demolition of the Franceschi House, which is a designated historic resource. An environmental impact report will be required. So just want to make that clear. And with that, I will hand it back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so to the applicant team.
Yes, I'll kick us off.
Yeah.
Thank you. Afternoon, commissioners and city staff. Holly Garson, project planner with the City of Santa Barbara's Parks and Recreation Department. And in the audience today, we also have my supervisor, Justin Van Mullum, as well as our director, Zachary. We are joined today by some of our project design team members. So if you could just introduce yourself briefly for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Capps with EPT Design. I'm the project landscape architect.
Kevin Dumaine, project architect with Design Arc Architects.
Sarah Corder, South Environmental Architectural Historian.
Great, thanks. Just a few opening remarks. So we have really been looking forward to this milestone concept review for formal comments. The department and the design team really took all of those pre-application review comments back in August 2024 to heart. We've done a lot of study. We've further refined the preliminary design, and still while keeping in mind all of the past public engagement that the department has facilitated. And so our most important project objective does remain to honor the important historic significance of the site and the heritage of this site. And it has taken a little bit to get back to you. As Ms. Burkhart stated, we did file our formal planning application. We worked through comments from 6 departments, so we worked on that compliance. I obtained 8 technical documents to support this project before you today, as well as the future environmental review process. Kevin and I did attend the Riviera Association fall meeting just to kind of give a preview and a status update. So that's where we've been, but we're excited to be here today, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Dumaine.
Okay, let's start with a kind of an overview of the changes. So on the project has grown quite a bit in the scope in order to, responding to your comments and other departments. So at the upper level, you're going to see that, and we'll talk about it in more detail, we've made some improvements to the parking area. We've created a little view terrace here. And then we've also created an accessible pathway system from the upper parking all the way down to the terrace area and down below. There's 29 feet of vertical difference there, so it's been quite a ADA challenge. And it all has to be permeable. In addition to that, we're going to go through some extensive changes to the terrace area where we've invoked some of your recommendations, and we've simplified the carriage court. We've also further developed ways of incorporating historical elements in the project, especially in the terrace area. And Scott will speak a little bit about how he's been able to incorporate elements of Franceschi-inspired landscaping where possible. Okay, so let's do a little tour of the improvements. So we're going to kind of jump around from sheet to sheet. But we'll start at the top of the site. Okay, what's the button I need to can you see that okay?
It's a touch screen. You should be able to just pinch it and zoom in or zoom out.
Okay, we'll try that. All right, so as I mentioned, we've made some improvements to the parking, ADA improvements, striping, there'll be 9 total spaces. And in order to accomplish that, we have to push out the horizontal surfaces a little bit. So we get this retaining wall here that becomes a small viewing terrace at the level of the parking. And then from there, what we've tried to do is break this sort of accessible path down into sort of 3 primary components. This upper portion where we go from the parking to this upper terrace. And kind of the key idea there was we were really trying to minimize the impact and not build a bunch of extravagant new structures. So we get half of that ramp system really is a new ramp up right adjacent to the existing retaining wall here. And then we carve another ramp here. And it lines up fairly well. And it creates a nice path that starts to lead you down in a more sort of orchestrated procession to the lower portion of the park. Okay, then we'll jump out to another sheet. Back to here. So then in the middle portion of this system is kind of an alteration to the existing paths through the landscape. Currently the path's too narrow, it's not accessible, and it doesn't sort of fall down the hill any. We need to get as much vertical out of it as we can. So the middle section is a series of slope walks. It kind of meanders around the trees. We introduce a kind of a kit of parts of stone or rock borders, low rubble walls, and then in a few instances where necessary, there'll be a CMU retaining wall with stone cladding on it. And that will get us down to over here to the right, which is going to be kind of the switchback ramps. And here we have quite a bit of vertical difference that we have to make up for. But we've opted to go and put that ramp system over here as opposed to the west side of the house because the features over the west side are a little more historic. The slopes are even steeper. We didn't want to damage that nice curvilinear wall. So we chose to do the improvements here. And we can kind of follow natural grades as much as possible. And we can also build around there's these existing stair system here that we follow, but unfortunately we have to rebuild it with something that's accessible and meets current codes. But we are able to keep a few of the existing stone walls in this piece. So it's a refinement and development on what's currently there, but it's now code accessible. And it brings you down to this path, which is existing, but it'll get modified and become ADA accessible. And then that will lead you to the terrace. All right. Oops. Why did we jump to that page? Okay. So at the terrace, we've followed your direction from the last meeting, and we're now incorporating the footprint of the original house. What we're doing is sort of 2 parts. To the south, where the grade falls off, we're going to have a retaining condition. So this would be a new poured-in-place concrete wall, vertical board form, similar to what's on the semicircular wall further down the hill. And on the upper portion, where we can kind of work with the existing grades, the idea is to just keep the existing footings of the house tear down all the wood framing, but leave the remnant, sort of a trace of the house with the stem walls. As you come in from the north side, everybody is kind of like the quirky features of the park. So what we've done is we've retained, the remnants of that arched bridge. So they would still be there. They're a fun element you pass through. You turn to the view here, and then on this side, there'd be an element. This would be a new little plinth with a frame on it. And then that's an opportunity for us to incorporate the two bronze plaques that are to the left and the right of the main entrance of the house now. So those can have a new place of importance in the scheme. And the terrace out here, this portion is fairly similar to the previous scheme. It's 19 feet wide. Kind of want to restate that, it's not an event space. The park is a place for, smaller groups of people to come, appreciate the view. Some of them aren't there very long, others may be a bit longer. But it's not a place for events. We certainly don't have the parking. It's not the will of the neighbors. And so the focus has been on really a place to come, appreciate the view, try to educate and inform people a little bit more about Franceschi and Freeman. And so this is how it's evolved. But then on the south side, we have the opportunity to open up that terrace a little bit more. Some benches, and then also these steps here. So places to come see and appreciate the view, watch the sunset. And then by incorporating these steps, we actually kind of steal a move from kind of British landscape estate and have where they have the AHA fences, but we've incorporated that into this wall here. And that allows us to keep the top of the retaining wall more or less at the height of the terrace and not 42 inches up high where it blocks the view. Okay. Let me jump over to the carriage court. And then in the previous meeting, there was been a comment about, that we had a compass rose in there. Well, we looked at it again, and it's like, we don't need the compass rose. It wasn't improving the project. So it's gone. We're keeping all of the sort of original, it's rubble, which we've been informed is leftovers recycled from the 25 earthquake. There's a few contractor stamp pieces. So the center portion of this kind of amoeba shape, that would still remain. We keep that character, but then around the perimeter, we do have a permeable, walkable, ADA compliant surface. Along the edge, we've retained the sort of the low bench for seating. And then out at the view perch, we still have sort of the same idea where we complete the circle. So that's pretty much a good or overall presentation of those architectural elements. I'll let Scott speak a little more about the landscape.
Sure, thank you, Kevin. If you can go to sheet number 2 of the landscape drawings. And as Kevin is pulling that up, I'll just thank the board for previous comments and your support of the, very conceptual landscape design, and as well as the support for integrating higher water use plants to better, acknowledge and honor Dr. Franceschi's horticultural legacy. I'll be brief and just state that there haven't been any major updates to the landscape plan. Our planting plan is very preliminary at this point. I'll just quick reminder, we are able to balance our water use across a property by using a lot of native, regionally appropriate plant material. That would be the lighter green that you're kind of seeing on the larger areas of the project area. Those would blend in to the rest of the park site. We're really focusing the Franceschi-inspired, Franceschi-introduced plant selections up on the terrace that Kevin just walked through, as well as the new meandering pathway. And the meandering pathway is really what I do want to touch on, and that is that accessible path that Kevin has walked us through to the north. You can see the orange tree symbols. Here's where we're taking an opportunity, per your feedback, to introduce higher water use plants. So we're thinking we can introduce Franceschi-introduced specimen trees here, as well as pockets of Franceschi-introduced planting, shrubs, ground covers in these areas as well. So really, taking this accessible pathway that we need and turning it into an opportunity to highlight a lot of Franceschi's plantings. And Kevin, if you can scroll down on the page a little bit, we have our section here in the bottom right. And that was starting to illustrate, what Kevin walked through, this idea of, rock rubble walls in some areas, using boulders to hold back grade, and then again, this introduction of specimen trees and pockets of Franceschi planting along here. I'll leave it at that for planting, but of course I'm here for questions and further comment. Thank you.
Let me go back to the elevations and sections, which I completely forgot. Okay, so here is a section through the main terrace area. A place for the Franceschi plantings, a few trees on the back portion of the terrace, and then here's the AHA kind of idea that we've incorporated into the low wall. And that keeps this wall at about 9 feet tall instead of being, 13 to 14. And so it's a more comfortable scale, we feel. And then if we look at the south elevation, so on this wall, not only is it in the same footprint of the house, where it gives us an opportunity to keep and reinstall the medallions that are currently on the house and put them in the same configuration as they currently are. So Rick, in his presentation, has mentioned the significance of the how they're paired up, and so we should be able to kind of maintain that. This other view here, and then maybe a few details. All right, so here we have an example of one of the medallions. They're all sort of little individual pieces. It looks to us like they can be cut out with a sawzall from the wood frame plaster covered wall, and they would be incorporated into little niches into the concrete block with a little section here. These are the bronze medallions I spoke of earlier. They would go on this element here. And then here's a little schematic sketch section of how the carriage court retaining walls would work. So I think that kind of concludes our summary. We'll certainly get into more detail with the Q&A.
All right. Great, thank you for that. So now we will open public comment on this item.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. At this time, I do have several speaker slips for in-person public comment for this item, though if anyone else in the room would like to speak, you can fill out a speaker slip along the wall, bring it up to me, and if we do run out, just let me know and I can give you some more over here. But I'll begin with Sherry Ray, followed by Michael Erickson.
Good afternoon. Is this on? I think it's on. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for all that you do and the opportunity to speak with you today. As a board member of the Pearl Chase Society and the owner of a 1912 bungalow that has served as our family home for more than 30 years in a neighborhood full of 100-year-old homes that have been beautifully restored and maintained, I'm very sad that Franceschi House is slated for very expensive demolition and reimagining. That said, I'm also concerned about the salvaging of the historic interior treasures that remain inside and unseen. And that would include the 4 floral stained glass windows, light fixtures, the fireplace and mantel, extraordinary woodwork including the beamed ceiling, the wainscoting, staircase, and massive doors and the like. Please strongly recommend that an independent inventory of these features be required and a careful plan be developed for their recycling, reuse, and repurposing by a qualified historian, according to the protocols set by the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. These historically valuable items, if they cannot be reused on the site for reimagining, then please have a plan developed to make them available for off-site use elsewhere, and consider some way that the public may be able to obtain smaller mementos such as doorknobs, light switches, sinks, etc. It's a shame we no longer have a restore here in Santa Barbara, but perhaps build upon that idea. And also, please address the 1921 historic herms that are said to be in the basement and find a home for them. There were once 4 of them. One has been lost. As a literacy advocate, I'm especially interested in the one honoring Frederick Douglass and other notable African Americans, especially since that would be a unique cultural treasure to display in our community. And I would also hope that the commemorative plaques included would also refer to not only Alden Freeman's gift to the city, but the commitment of the community and its many efforts to save the house. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have Michael Erickson, followed by Rick Clausen.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for letting me speak today. My name is Michael Erickson. I have been a resident on the Riviera for 15 years and live in a home that was built in 1925 by Delfonso. And I've been on the board for the Riviera Association for 4 years, acting as vice president last year, and I am the current incoming president for 2026. We submitted a letter, which I'm going to read part of, and then add some additional commentary for you today. We, the board of the Riviera Association, want to throw our wholehearted support behind the proposed design progression for the reimagining of Franceschi Park. As the largest neighborhood organization representing homeowners on the Riviera, our organization has supported the city's efforts towards Franceschi Park since the park's introduction in 1931. As the design approval process moves forward in the months ahead, we want to share our thoughts on the condemned house that now sits there. This building needs to be torn down as soon as possible before some tragedy occurs there. It's time to start moving forward on this. The house remnants have served no purpose other than the showcasing the time-worn medallions on the exterior for decades. We support saving those and utilizing them in the new design to help tell the Franceschi story. We have helped communicate to our members through meetings and continuous updates on our website, and we thank Holly and her team for being at our last meeting and sharing their feedback, and I'm happy to see that some of the feedback that our members shared has been incorporated into the design here. We are especially concerned lately due to a homeless person that is now living somewhere in Franceschi Park. He is seen regularly walking Mission Ridge and Franceschi Road. We hope he doesn't take up residence in this abandoned building because Lord knows what could happen then. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have Rick Clausen, followed by Moni DeWitt.
Hello again. If you look at the park without the house, there's little remarkable that relates to either Franceschi or Freeman. And if you take Freeman out of the equation, the property would have gone to multiple buyers, the original house would have been demolished, and the panoramic views would be in private hands. There would be no park, no memorial to either man, no grand vistas to appreciate, much less celebrate, within the public's domain. Broadly speaking, Freeman bought the properties, stuccoed the unremarkable existing house, then refocused his personal interest to Miami Beach until 1937 when he died. Except for one thing, the stuccoed house might be gone today, except for the medallions. Not only do they call out now forgotten notable events and people in a durable manner, but they cover a timeline from before Christ to the early 20th century. It is the medallions that make the current shambles of the house historically valuable to Santa Barbarans and worth your time today. The medallions, I have written to you about the greater park in which the house and this project are but a small piece. Perhaps much later, with more interest and money, there will be future efforts to consolidate the three main areas of the park into a park that all visitors can access and enjoy. And with that in mind, I think about the historic resources that are the medallions. The medallions are acknowledged in the current plans as important features to be incorporated into the final design. But there are a lot of them, 85. And the current conceptual plan seems to consider them all equal placeholders for later installation. Should the few that relate directly to Franceschi be made part of this current project, with the others relating to the American Revolution, the Great War, the philosophers, writers, and artists specifically be saved as groups for other parts of the greater park? I encourage this sort of early comprehensive consideration of the entire acreage of the park and specifically request a better defined plan for medallion selection and placement at the Commission's next review of the project. Thank you. I will say, with another 10 seconds, that Kevin mentioned my name, and he's using particular medallions as they currently are in situ on the house. I think that that's a fine starting point. But there are about a half a dozen that relate to Franceschi, and they're not all in that grouping. And it might be worth considering, since you're only going to mount a certain number of them in the project that you're dealing with, that those relate to Franceschi because they're Franceschi. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have Moni DeWitt, followed by Douglas Reed.
Hello there. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm a local Santa Barbara resident and frequently go by the Franceschi property. And around 2000, I was actually allowed to go inside as a small group of people who were hoping to have it rebuilt. And it was beautiful inside, incredible staircase, stained glass windows, the whole interior. You would just not even believe what's in there. And I am concerned about what's going to happen, and agree with Sherry Ray that we need to be at least stewards of that. I feel deeply saddened, actually, that this building is coming down just because if somebody gives the city something of this magnitude to be a steward of, we really haven't lived up to that at all. But, you know, that has already happened. In response, though, I think we need to honor Franceschi's legacy, and we can do this best, I think, through botany. Like, we have Lotus Land, and they have, you know, they have gardens everywhere. They've honored her. Her main house is still beautiful, and I think just pockets of Franceschi's plants is really diminishing his legacy. I think we need to do much more, do research on all the plants he brought, show people, sample them, have placards, like really let people know who he was. He didn't actually live in the house. He went to Libya because he couldn't afford it. And I just feel like the other thing about his legacy are the stone pines, which were almost lost last year, but luckily a group of people saved those. But the promise was to plant new young stone pines, and not a single new stone pine has been planted. So I think we need a little bit more, or quite a bit more, accountability on the stone pines as well as his memory, because he's not here to protect it, and very few people really take the stewardship element very seriously. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have Douglas Reed, followed by Christine Newhouser.
Hello, Commissioners. Hello, Commissioners. Allow me to read. I reviewed the updated plans titled Reimagining Franceschi House, which to the contrary propose neither alteration nor replacement, but removal of the house, adding path of travel and view improvements. With the scheme's brutalist infinity edge viewing platform, disjointed historic medallions, and disruptive gashes of wheelchair rampings where there should be scenic gardens, it appears as another episode in the park's tawdry slide toward ruination, and that the chronic wounding of this vital historic resource has escalated. I love Santa Barbara and its caring people, and have always loved and championed Italian culture and people for all they've done for the world, bringing truth to beauty with their vanguard spirit of passion and keen reason. It is not possible to sit back and watch this historic architectural embodiment of a noble Italian man with all its compelling intricacies be closed down, muted, and sealed into a token concrete tombstone, perpetuating new visitors' confusion over what it all means. Rather, I have formulated an alternative Franceschi proposal for the citizens of Santa Barbara to consider. The project is called Renaissance, a state of mind yearning to be a movement. The subject structure is called Villa Franceschi. It's an integrative, interpretive, allegorical, high-fidelity architectural distillation of the historic 1907 house for the exaltation of Franceschi and redemption of Alden Friedman. It reestablishes the archetypal relationship of building to landscape as Italians conceived and propagated historically. It is ramp-free with 3 accessible levels and 2 unisex toilets. Importantly, it facilitates what no living person today has ever seen: the elegant, quiet dignity of the storied Franceschi house, unfettered. It is stunningly beautiful. Thank you for your consideration. I look forward to being in further contact on this vital issue. Douglas Reed.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Christine Newhouser.
I attended with Emma Brinkman the Riviera Association meeting October 12th, and we're both also with Pearl Chase Society. and Design Arcs Kevin Dumaine gave a presentation of the proposed plans for Franceschi. The overall design was well received, however, there was robust vocal opposition to the proposed removal of the restrooms and the picnic tables. Reviewing the plans, we're pleased to note that the restrooms will remain for now. We do have concerns that they may be removed at a later date via a different city agency. The restrooms, along with the picnic tables, are a necessity frequently used by park visitors. I saw also that the picnic tables look like they're now being removed, and I think because the benches will be there, or some benches, but not the picnic tables, and it seems like you could definitely find some kind of ADA picnic table to go with the benches. Last Sunday, we observed numerous people enjoying the beautiful views, and yes, the picnic tables. The removal of both will limit the length of time the park visitors can stay. We're grateful to see that many of Freeman's design features will be incorporated in the terrace. It is our expectation that the historic sandstone steps will remain in place or be repurposed at the Franceschi site. Alden Freeman was a progressive thinker, and we believe his intent of this generous gift was meant for the enjoyment of all the people of Santa Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I don't have any more speaker slips for in-person public comment, though if anyone else would like to speak, you can approach the podium at this time. But I'm not seeing any movement towards the podium, and we do not have anyone online with us, so I will acknowledge that we received written correspondence from Michael Erickson, the Kelly family, Burton Tripathy, Christine Newhauser, Sherry Ray, Rick Clausen, and the Riviera Association, and give it back to you.
All right, great, thank you. All right, so back to the commission for questions.
Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Uli.
I have a question of staff. Didn't council already take an action to approve the demolition of the building?
Vice Chair Uli, the demolition has not been approved, but council direction is to move forward with a project that proposes its demolition.
Well, that's a little confusing. That's not terribly clear. If their direction is basically to demolish the house, wouldn't they have done some environmental review at the time in order to make that determination?
To my knowledge, that hasn't happened. That would happen as a part of this formal application, planning application. That would be the EIR I mentioned earlier.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, other questions?
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Butler.
So I'd like to start with the artifacts, and maybe open the discussion to that a little bit, because on the site visit, we did a site visit last year or so. In addition to the medallions on the external part of the building, et cetera, there's a lot of material inside. Is there a plan to do an inventory or to study what the opportunity is for maintenance, storage, et cetera? Because there's a lot of material inside as well as on the outside of the building itself.
Thank you. Chair Gumbrine, Commissioner, we will be fully looking at all of that, exterior, interior items of historic significance. That's part of our next project milestone, which is the environmental review process. So we will be analyzing all of that. It'll be included in the initial study as part of the EIR. We have also our historic consultant here. She can speak to that as well and how that folds into our next step in the process.
All right, great. Okay, Commissioner McClure.
Now, I have a couple questions. The big retaining wall that's concrete that is part of the ha-ha, is that colored in the tan range? Or?
No, it'd be natural gray concrete.
Okay. And then the pedestrian access comes down below that wall so the medallions can be used, right?
Yeah, that's correct. There's an accessible path to travel from the parking lot all the way to the view perch.
Okay, and then what is, at the end of the day, is there a park attendant that asks people to leave? And then also, go ahead, and then my question's about lighting.
So Chair Grumbine, Commissioner, we do have a caretaker that resides at the residence. They oversee, the comings and goings. They close the park gate and open the gate just before sunrise. And we also have city parks and rec rangers available. They're generally on from, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Otherwise, for true emergencies, call 911.
Okay, and then lastly, is the existing bathrooms ADA compatible? I mean, do you get the ADA people to the bathroom there?
No, the existing bathrooms are not compatible. The present plan is that there will be improvements made we'll be improving it to the extent that we can.
If I could just also add to that briefly, Chair and Commissioner. So the restrooms were constructed in about 1950, so they're not up to current day standards. And there is approximately, I think it's 12 feet, right, Kevin, of a grade difference between the parking lot and the existing structure. So we do want to, we want to keep the restrooms, and we want to propose, or we have proposed improvements to become as ADA compliant as we can.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ensberg?
Yes. Thank you, Chair Grumbine. I just have a couple questions. Back to the salvage for the items in the interior. So I'm understanding your intent is to, as you move forward, to address them. And is there conceptually, is there any kind of conceptual idea about what the intent would be, or you're just going to explore what possibilities there would be with regard to all of these various items?
Thank you so much for that very thoughtful question. I apologize, I've got a little bit of cold going on over here. Through the environmental process, we will explore many alternatives when it comes to historical resources, and we consider everything out there to be a historical resource, the park, exterior of the house, interior of the house. So we have some preliminary studies. We have older studies that documented what was in there. So we have some photographic documentation of that now, so it helps aid in our planning through the environmental process and will help us to develop the mitigation measures, and our mitigation measures would be set up in order to lay out very detailed how that will be done and exactly how the Parks Department would need to carry that out before the demolition happens.
Yes, and clearly there's many different types of items.
Yes,
And
many,
they could all
many.
be dealt with some are perhaps more easy to deal with than others. But, so the intent is that you recognize how important they are and that you're going to be moving through that part of it in the next steps, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's true.
Thank you. And then on the,
Sorry.
you talked about the restrooms. So the intention is to keep the restrooms, that there will always be restrooms, and you're going to improve them to the extent that is possible.
Yes,
Am
Chair,
I-
Commissioner, that is our intent as of now. The project, as Ms. Burkhart stated, is in 30-day review, so we are also waiting on a determination from the Building and Safety Division, but that gets into code. So as of now, we'd love to keep them, that's the plan, and we'll do some, as many ADA upgrades as we can, just given the existing structure age and the topography difference.
Yes, understood. Thank you. And then about the picnic tables, there was discussion about this, and a number of the speakers talked about it. Have you thought about that, or is there a place that could happen? And what are your thoughts about picnic tables, maybe not on the viewing platform, but perhaps somewhere else? What are your thoughts on that?
And could you go to a site plan while you?
Yes, thank you for the question, Chair, Commissioner. So picnic tables, they're not a required amenity of an overlook space, which is the use that we're creating with this project, and that's the intent of this space. And we really do want to emphasize the new design and the terrace area where there are the opportunity for the benches and the steps, as well as the minimal improvements to the view perch. There's seating there. So again, it's not a required amenity, so we want to focus the efforts on the new design.
So no picnic tables?
Yes, the picnic tables are proposed for removal.
Okay. Okay, and then I have a couple questions about the medallions and how the historic, I guess this is also moving into the next steps. You've got that monument piece that's in the middle of the viewing platform that has a bronze top on it that has a place where there's description, correct? I'm trying to understand, and I realize this is to be developed further, but there's a lot of information. So how will all of this information, and many different people, all the medallions, 85, how will you be working like with the Historic Museum or other historians to figure out how to describe all of this and how you can do it? So I'd like to hear more from you about, will all of the 85 medallions be displayed, do you think? And that's a whole nother design thing in itself, obviously. And then how will the historic, all this information for the historic aspect of the place, the people, et cetera?
Okay, let's break that down.
Sorry. Sorry about
We
that.
currently do not have enough space to do all 85. You know, the current design shows the ones that being replicated in the same locations they are, but yes, there is room for the scheme to evolve with other input, and maybe there's some swapping of what's important. There's also some larger plaques on the building, some of which are quite damaged. We don't have really good locations for some of those, but we do have a location, you know, kind of front and center, where there's a significant existing plaque about Franceschi. It's been a while, but it might be by the front door. Anyway, that would be there. This kind of little pedestal right there at the head of the terrace, you know, the idea of going way back on earlier schemes was to have side by side, you know, a Franceschi and a Freeman plaque. You know, right now, unfortunately, visitors to the park, there's just so little to kind of inform them and educate them what's important, why they're significant and what their role is. A lot of people attribute the building to Freeman, or excuse me, to Franceschi, even though it's all wrapped in contributions of Freeman. And so this way, there's two people that we really need to kind of communicate about. And so on the vertical surfaces of this wall here, we have the opportunity to bring in elements of Freeman, but then on the horizontal elements of the terrace, we have the opportunity to have little plaques, which you know, our exhibit designer or somebody could sort of create the design, and they would inform people about the plants, in addition to the other living plants. And then along the pathway around the sort of center of the heart of the park, those are locations. But we just don't have enough space for all of them, unfortunately. But maybe more will find homes. It's just, the project will continue to evolve. This is the kernel of the idea.
Yes, no, I understand, and it's a whole nother design element to incorporate all of these art pieces, if you will. I think that was it. Thank you very much.
All right. Commissioner Jordan.
Thank you. And I understand that this is a stage in the process, and an early stage is more coming, but I have a couple of questions. One of the letters that we received referred to a gated pedestrian access at the lower level that had been the source of apparently of local tension. And is that part of this particular phase of the work? Or does that gated pedestrian access fall within the area slated for this project?
And I see, to help answer, I think we'll have staff and.
Chair Grumbine, Commissioners, Jill Zachary, Parks and Recreation Director. The reference to that gate was actually at the lower entrance to Franceschi on Mira Vista. It is no longer there. The department worked with the prior owner to remove fencing that actually was encroaching into the park, as well as the gate. And there's no problem with that anymore. I would also, if you don't mind, take the opportunity just to give a little bit of context to the picnic tables. They're actually where they're currently located is where we actually need to put the accessible path of travel. I think as we get further into our design work, we can take the public comment into consideration as to how people will use the park in addition to sitting on a bench and or potentially having a picnic space. So maybe stay tuned for further information. I would also just like to acknowledge Mr. Clausen's discussion about the medallions. We haven't gone into a lot of detail about which ones and where, and again, that's a level of design that we expect will have more engagement as we proceed with the project.
All right, great, thank you. Commissioner Jordan?
There was a reference to some existing photographs of the interior. Are those historical photographs, or were they recently done?
I would like to say that they're not really historic, but they came from the post-Hazeltine reports that were prepared many, many years ago. And I believe that we have some more recent ones, but they're generally in the reports that were provided, and that's kind of what we're going off of.
There's been talk about and requests from public comment for an independent inventory of the interior and interior fixtures. Is there any existing inventory separate from the photographs?
Howard Wittosh did a very extensive report, and so there's volumes of different documents that we've been looking at during the course of this project, and so Howard's, I think, really stands out. And, documents all room by room, piece by piece.
Okay.
So many of the interior pieces were actually brought from New Jersey. The stair that people talk about is kind of a mashup of 3 different stairs, for instance. And so, he just took things with him, brought them here, installed them.
Okay. Is there any plan for lighting, or is the fact that this is a public park probably closes at dusk, there's no need or no projection for lighting?
No, we skipped that earlier. It does close at dusk, so there's very minimal lighting, so basic exiting. It really comes down to 3 types of fixtures: some pole lights, some bollards, and then I think even some other low fixtures. And we have one plan in the package here.
Okay. And last question is, it's a complicated one, but it's about the restroom. And I understand somebody mentioned there was a 12-foot change in grade between the parking and the existing restroom. And that's come up in a number.
Actually, can you just point out the existing restroom on there?
Yeah, that's come up in a number of the public comment letters. My question to you is it possible to even upgrade that restroom, but not to the level of ADA accessible? And if you did that, would that be a problem in claiming that the park as a whole was ADA accessible? In other words, could you imagine having something that didn't meet ADA standards there and still have the rest of the park?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, that is an excellent question that Holly has been working on extensively. We've had multiple meetings with the building department, and we are working on it. This is an asset that we currently have. It's quite old, doesn't meet current code. We're trying to see if we can meet the building department's requirements by removing barriers that are readily achievable. There are some things that just are not, and that's going to be one of the things that we work through the process. The picnic table, I wanted to just kind of bring that up. Those of you that have worked with the plumbing code know that the plumbing code requires certain fixtures for certain amenities. Well, that's another thing that we need to figure out, because of picnic table, barbecue, that might be things that trigger fixture units, which would require toilets. And so all things that we're in the works on. So that's kind of the answer. It's in progress. If we can keep the amenity for a few more years, we are going to try to do that, but not to the extent that we have to rebuild it.
Thank you. Those are my questions. I have comments, but those are my questions.
Great. Other questions?
Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Uli.
Have you explored gaining ADA access to the restrooms by coming off of the upper terrace? Since you've already dropped down to that level, it would seem that you could just come across to the restroom.
It's quite steep there. I think we've run into issues on building retaining walls on this location, and we're just...
Because you've already dropped down to the...
Yeah, I don't think we have those photos with us today, but no, we've ruled that out. We're pursuing the option of just, like you mentioned, improvements where we can do it.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Let's go on to comments. All right. So this is before us, no final appeal action. Oops, I'm on the wrong, sorry. I was like, what? It was already granted design approval. What? Sorry, wrong item. That I was making notes on. All right, so this is no final appeal decision, project compatibility findings, major alteration findings, and demolition findings will be required for project design approval, so keeping that in mind as well as we're giving comments. So who wants to start us off?
I'll take a stab at it.
Okay.
First, thank the applicant team and the department for putting so much time and effort and thought into navigating this very complicated and touchy subject. I appreciate the incorporation of some of the commission's comments, in particular, keeping the outline of the building, and I think keeping the stem wall is an excellent way to tie it. It's unfortunate that that the building has to be removed and couldn't be in some way rehabilitated for reuse, and I realize, the train has already left the station on that. But generally, like the direction that you're going, it's always extremely difficult to get ramping in that makes it look like it's part of the natural landscape and not some convoluted switchback of concrete ramps, because it's just as ugly as hell. That's a planning term.
That's a technical, yeah.
Yeah, that's a technical term. So I really appreciate that. I also think that it helps us to make the finding or be comfortable that the project fits the interior standards when materials that are already on site are kept or reused. So when you need to rebuild the stairs at the switchback, if you because of grading and et cetera, if you rebuild them with the same material, then that is a way to at least use the same material. And I suppose to a degree that if it can't be the existing material because of its age or condition or how it comes out of the demo process, then it should be a like material so that it reads the same. And I would say that for anything that is going on, that it should feel like it was natural. If it's an introduced material, it should clearly feel like it was an introduced material and not trying to echo something that did exist. But generally, I like the direction you're going.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Lembeck?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I understand where Mr. Uli is, what he's proposing. I'm not sure what's up there now from the standpoint of handrails or other things that are part of the landscape. The improvements are worth keeping. Yeah, I just don't know that there are. My bigger concern is that as I understand it, we're going to be asked to make a recommendation to the city council to permit the demolition of the Franceschi house, which is a structure of merit. And
to make the findings.
Make the findings, right, yeah.
Not to recommend,
well,
just to make the decision.
And there are, as we've been told, and I have not been in the house itself, but we've been told there's a lot of architectural, artistic elements, building elements that are in the house, which are probably character defining in and of themselves, and yet we have not seen that list. You indicate that Mr. Witosh has done a lot of work putting together descriptions and lists or whatever, and I'm not sure what his goal was originally in doing that, if it was to try to find a way to save the house or simply to create a list that would be usable for any approving body that was to recommend that demolition could occur, but save whatever. And I think we need to see that character-defining list of elements that that we need to so we can consider our actions on demolition. And that's my only real comment. I think that the view from this site of the city is so spectacular that the pathways, the walkways, handicap accessibility, so on and so forth, are going to be really as background elements. And I think we probably should have a less is more attitude towards the walkways and the pathways and such, because when you're walking down them, you're not concerned about the handrail, you're concerned about that spectacular view, of the city. I mean, it is really something to be very proud of, and we want to find a way to respect that and keep as much of that open as possible. I had one other item I wanted to bring up, but you know how that is when you get old.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? That's good. That's good to hear.
To actually add to one of your comments, just to stick on it for a second, for the elements of the house, and wanting to see a list, and I think that's going to be part of this discussion, and as part of our typical purview when it comes to demolition, we can make all these requirements. That's fairly typical, that we can add requirements. I do want to note that technically, unless I think, and without Nicole here, I don't. Then I'll just go with it.
I think you're right, if I know what you're going to say.
So technically, unless otherwise part of the structure of merit designation or the landmark designation, unless it has been identified that interior elements are part of the structure of merit, those aren't considered as part of the character defining or that discussion, unless we impose an additional thing, which is, I think, where it'll be going, but unless we specifically indicate that the interiors is to be considered and reused and et cetera, all those things, which we can, but I just want to make sure that that we're clear about it. It's really only the exterior that we have official design purview, so, okay.
The other thing, my memory cleared itself up here for a second.
Yeah.
Restrooms, I know, are important. They're not part of our project that you have. And I have seen in my wandering around the country and such that there are alternatives to a conventional restrooms, which are made of concrete block and tile and whatever. There are a lot of things out there, restroom components, systems, whatever, that are well worth considering, that are probably expensive in and of themselves, but not as expensive as trying to build a building. And I think we ought to think beyond the conventional structures and whatever for restrooms at this location.
All right. Commissioner Jordan. Yeah.
And thank you, Chair. And thank you for the work. I actually have a lot of comments, so I'll try to get through this quickly. One quick comment. Municipal Code 30.157.110, required findings for demolition, says the Historic Landmarks Commission may require, as conditions of approval of demolition, that the property owner salvage historic materials. So that is, we do have some say over that. But next, in terms of my other comments, in terms of restrooms, speaking on behalf of other men of my age, I hope you can find a way to keep a restroom up there. Next, in terms of the medallions, they are a crucial feature of the history of the house, and they are quite eccentric as a collection and as the way they were displayed around the house. Historians have a tendency to clean up history when they get around to writing the story. I would encourage you to keep the eccentricity of that. That means the way they were arranged and so forth. Anything you can do to maintain that eccentricity. Next, and this is the more general comment, I'm very supportive of the direction this project is going. The vista up there is Commissioner Lenvick mentioned, is spectacular. And vistas like that allow us to see the place whole, the city and the environment that the city is in. And with the specific history of this site, the key word there is environment. The Santa Barbara we see today is not the same environment that the Spaniards encountered or when they arrived or that the Chumash inhabited for generations. Today, this environment is much greener with a greater catalog of plants and trees thanks to the career of people like Franceschi. So what I would like to see, I hope that going forward, the interpretive program, the signage and the interpretive program will include far more than simply labeling specimens with their Latin taxonomic names. The unfolding story of Santa Barbara in the next 75 years will be environmental as much as it is urban or a social story. And we will need places like Franceschi Park to tell this story to the public. So going forward, I will be very interested in the way the city chooses to interpret the site.
All right. Yeah, Commissioner Lodge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a long history with this project, like back to 1981, and when I first visited it. And I'm afraid I just have never been able to see it. It was originally proposed to be restored by Pearl Chase Society was going to do it, and they found that they couldn't raise the money to do it, and it was terribly expensive and so on. And so we're back to this. But even if it were restored, the spaces are just really odd in it, and it wouldn't be, you couldn't be used. They're small. And then inside, people are talking about, there's one huge staircase that was imported from Freeman's home in New Jersey that's sort of stuck in the middle of what I think may have been the living room, where the main view is from the house. And it goes up, and then there's a landing, and it goes, it switches direction. And then there's a little fireplace that's also been imported. It's a little, not much higher than this, an arch thing that, it is plunked in there with no rhyme nor reason. And one of the things about when we're determining whether something qualifies as a structure of merit or as a landmark in particular, is would the original owner be able to recognize it if he were to come back? Never in a million years from the inside would Franceschi be able to recognize it. It is just strange. Talking about restrooms, there's like an inaccessible bathtub. There's a little narrow hallway that branches off of another hallway that comes to an end where there's a bathtub, but what you see is like about 2 feet of the bathtub, and then it's another room on the wall, and so it's. I have never thought that that trying to restore it was worth the effort or the cost. The other thing is I was also on the Riviera Improvement Association and on the board, and the subject came before the board, and I prepared a slide preparation. The last one was one where I took a photograph of the west elevation of the house, and then I walked to the other side and stood as close to the east elevation as I could and took a photograph of the landscaping that's there. Then I put them two together and I photoshopped the house out. That was the last slide in my slide presentation, and there was a sturdy, vigorous round of applause when that kept me. So and staff has done a great job of working with the community and getting community input. So I'm fully in favor of proceeding. I think you're going in the right direction.
Commissioner McClure?
Yep.
Commissioner Ansberg?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for all the work. You've obviously really been busy and listened very carefully to everything that we had to say, and it's obvious that you have done a very, very creative and sensitive solution. I really appreciate the comments of the other commissioners, particularly Commissioner Jordan, and I agree with those comments. I won't repeat them, and I think also Commissioner Lenvik made some good comments about the bathrooms and other elements. I am, of course, conflicted and saddened. You know, I think we're all struggling with this whole issue of the house and the demolition of it. I just want to say I don't, as Commissioner Uli said, the bus has left the station, it seems, although there does seem that we are going to have to make findings about it. I was in the house almost 20 years ago, so I'm pretty, you know, I remember it. To me, it is eclectic as can be. It's a lot, some parts of it sort of remind me of what Julia Morgan's work was like, where she would go to Europe or her client would bring home some crazy thing and she'd have to figure out how to incorporate it into the house. So I don't see, you know, I think some of those crazy things are who those people were, and they express who those people were. I also have never seen that the interior should necessarily be restored for public access at all. I never thought that that wouldn't be something I would suggest. I would be more interested in just, you know, putting the exterior back together again and let it be more of an in situ, you know, a monument. And I stated that last time at the last meeting. But you know, again, I think we've got these two things we're trying to hold, and I think that you have done a very, very good job of everything. I really appreciate the way it's all been laid out and how you have, I think it's extremely creative and very sensitive. And there's many things about it that I really like. I like how you've incorporated a lot of the elements, the arched bridge, and many other pieces that you're trying to keep the essence and the patina of the place. So I think you've done a great job of that, and I want to acknowledge you for that. One thing just occurred to me as Commissioner Lenvik was talking is about this, you know, incredible view, and I just wanted to just mention that with what you have designed here, is it possible, right now this is like a route to the viewing platform. It's not a sort of a, you know, along the way. I wonder if you might consider some stopping places along the way of the path so that you were able to, you know, pull off and sit down and enjoy the view from many different places as opposed to just going down the path, getting to the viewing platform. That, I don't know, maybe that could be something to incorporate more areas for viewing rather than just standing in the middle of the path, which you probably will do. So I wanted to mention that, and other than that, I would support the direction that you're going, and just let go, I guess, of. And I know you're gonna do these other things. You're gonna look at the elements on the interior. So I think you're going the right direction. I would like to see picnic tables if possible. And we'll see on those other elements, the descriptions, the history. Others have already spoken to that, so I won't repeat. Oh, one other thing I will say, though, I really like how you've designed the viewing platform with the steps going down. I think that was really a brilliant move, and I think people will end up sitting on those steps, and it does kind of give another place to kind of relax, and I think that was a really good way to handle that. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Butler.
Real quickly, in general supportive, but I challenge the strategy of this being a viewing utility or a viewing resource. when this is done, it's going to stimulate interest, it's going to stimulate more usage, it's going to stimulate a lot more people coming, et cetera, for all kinds of reasons. So I would encourage you to actually take a look at the more utilitarian use of the resource and the property. The subject of picnic tables has come up several times, the restrooms, et cetera. And yes, the views are spectacular, and there's going to be people that are going to want to come up there with a bottle of wine in the evenings and some food and whatever. I believe it's going to be a highly utilitarian resource, much more for use in a multiple way. So I would just encourage you to think about that, as I think viewing limits the value and what the resource could represent.
Okay. Let me just jot that down. All right. So, and then my comments to add. I agree with the comments with the fellow commissioners. Since everyone's throwing in how they know the Franceschi house of their life, it actually predated my coming to Santa Barbara in terms of the 2003 effort, and actually our firm was part of it, doing a bunch of pro bono work to actually get a pricing set that ended up like in 2009 or 10 or whatever it was. It was like that thick to actually price it out and to make it usable, which included getting rid of some of the weirdness, to actually make it a small group usability, but then you need elevators and everything else, that all the upgrades that need to go into it, and then it just became very clear to everyone that it was it was just too much. And then also even all the other discussions later with even trying to make it a in situ monument and things like that. So it has been, I've seen it in our drawing sets forever as the never-ending pro bono project. So and even at that, I do know that basically every idea possible has been exhausted in this process. So I do think in that case, once things are thoroughly exhausted and everyone's trying to figure out every good way of doing it, there are what's the best that we can come up with. And I think this is really in that line of the best that we can come up with, given all the challenges of everything to do with the site, codes, everything. So I agree with where it's going based on all those things. So, all right. So I think I'll take a shot at summarizing the comments, and we can have discussions along the way if it's not clear. But from what I'm hearing, there's general support. We're going to have project compatibility findings. I think that those are we'll be able to tie to some of these ideas as part of it to find those. To be able to make the findings for demolition. So I think that's going to be part of the ongoing discussion as well. But let me take a shot at summarizing where we are right now. So first, the team appreciates the huge effort that's gone on in the past from generations, literally, generation after generation, as well as the current team and what they were doing to make this project work. And to use this great resource of the park to the best of the city's ability. And we recognize that the building is not salvageable, but that the park can be improved and the history can be told, and this can be a great opportunity to make a better experience for the public. One comment is as the team continues to develop everything from pathways to steps, railings, other things like that, to try to make the new, even if they're rebuilt or built new, of the same or similar materials, to be that as a general design direction. For elements of the house, both interior and exterior, and if there are any exterior elements that happen to be in the basement or that can go to the exterior, that also might be an opportunity. But significant elements of the house be incorporated as possible into the telling of the story through the site, and also to be those elements that will be removed from the site to be done in an appropriate manner, cataloged, et cetera, and for the HLC to be seeing that too as part of the future strategy of how everything that can be reused or given another life is done so. The exterior medallions in particular, to come up with, to think through and develop and design an artistic way of presenting the story. And there's probably a number of ways of doing it, but try to come up with as artistic and a thoughtful way of presenting them. Not necessarily only around and on the footprint, but there might be other ways through the site of helping to tell a story with objects and with signage or other ways. Vice Chair.
On those medallions, it seems to me that they should be protected now in some way so that they're of value when we get around to putting them in a reuse.
Yep, good. That's a good general point, is making sure that the medallions and anything else that should be protected so that it can be reused is. Interior or exterior. All right, so to, also another directive was to really accentuate the view, continue to think about it and accentuate the view throughout the site, as well as adding stopping places along the way, and viewing places, not just focusing on the viewing platform, but other places as they're working. Since you're building this whole accessible long route, might as well design it to have great, have some good pullouts. And then I think the Commission understands the challenge with getting accessibility to the bathrooms, as well as the team's ongoing that ongoing design issue, and encourages the team to, as much as possible, to both get it accessible as well as picnic tables, if possible. Either that or just small stumps and large stumps. And they're just stumps. So just kidding, for the record, just kidding. You got to get the table. Okay, and then let's see. Also, we also want to note to the team that we very much appreciate the revisions that they've done, listening to our comments and developing, especially the viewing platform and other things, but listening to our comments and developing this next level of design that incorporates much of what we had asked for at the last meeting. Okay, am I missing anything else? Everyone good with that? Okay, so there's no final appealable, but I guess we can make a motion to continue indefinitely with those comments.
I'll make a motion to continue the project indefinitely with those comments.
All right, and do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Butler, second it, thank you. All right, under discussion, any further discussion? All right, have a roll call vote.
Thank you. I'll begin with Commissioner Lodge.
Yes.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Commissioner Dorden.
Yes.
Commissioner Ensberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvik.
Yes.
Commissioner McClure.
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli.
Yes.
And Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work. All right, so we are next, as our last item. We're 15 minutes behind, but we can probably cover this in 45 minutes and keep the whole commission in it. All right, so this is in progress review for 320 West Carrillo Street. It's located in EPV and designated structure of merit. The base house was constructed in 1904 in the Queen Anne Free Classic style. Proposal for a new 4-story, 35-unit residential building, the on-site relocation of the existing historic resource, and 1 vehicle parking space. The project would be developed under the city's average unit size density incentive program and state density bonus law. Project includes demolition of the existing 1-story commercial building, 2-car garage, and 21 surface parking spaces. The structure of merit would be relocated from the rear of the property to the front of the property along West Carrillo Street and would be converted back to a duplex with 3-bedroom units. Vehicle access to the site would occur at the rear of the property. The 2 existing driveways along West Creo Street would be removed. 5 on-site trees would be removed. No final appealable action will take place at this meeting. Project design approval was granted on May 22nd, 2024, which is when the project was last reviewed. Applicant requests in progress review of refinements addressing HLC comments, updates to paving, and mechanical utility equipment screening. And so with that, if you would introduce yourselves for the record, we'll go to staff for any comments. We'll look at the minutes from last time and then go from there.
Okay.
All right.
Ryan Cornell and Steve Noon.
Nicole Greer, landscape architect with CJMLA.
All right. Great. Thank you. And then to staff for any comments.
Kelly Brodison with Community Development, and yeah, the project's just here for in-progress review.
Okay,
before
great.
we proceed.
All right, so,
So I think we can do this quickly. We don't have a lot to show you, but I'd like to focus on what has changed since you reviewed it last, and I can go through these minutes. Specifically, why don't we go to the landscape L 3.1?
Okay, so I would
You wanna go through these?
I want to go through all of them real
Okay.
fast, and
I'll
then
let
you go
you-
through them in
I'll let
order
you
to
do
answer
that.
them, because that
Okay.
will also save you some time, and I
Yeah.
know you usually
Make
run out of
sure
time.
you start with number
So-
one.
All right, yes. The commission thanks the applicants for giving their continued hard work. We didn't say whether it was good or not. We just said you're working hard.
Hard work.
Yeah, the project is becoming, becoming quite beautiful. Oh, there we go.
See?
Okay. And addresses the important need for housing. Okay, 2, continue to study the window and awning colors, adding more pizzazz. Oh, we got pizzazz in there. All right, study the navy blue awnings of the storefront building. 3, most commissioners are in favor of the cobalt blue tile. At least one commissioner suggested mixing up the tile or adding additional details of tile to the cobalt blue tile on the storefront building. 4, the landscape is acceptable with the changes shown in the paper plans brought by the applicant. Submit the digital plans showing the addition of a canopy tree and a palm tree to staff. The commission appreciates the applicant moving the Bates House to its original position and taking care of the design. The commission looks forward to seeing a historic color added. 6, a finial or weather vane is appropriate on the tower. 7, the commission suggests the paving be more EPV appropriate and traditional. The commission is split in opinion on using cut face pavers. 8, the commission encourages the applicant to return to an in-progress hearing. 9, return with the plan for a mechanical system and utilities showing appropriate screening and visual impact from the public views. 10, the project compatibility analysis findings generally have been met. 11, as required for resources on the historic resources inventory of the Santa Barbara Municipal Code, the exterior alterations are being made to restore the historic resource. And B, the exterior alterations are consistent with the Secretary of Interior standards. Action by House, second by Drury, 800, and Jordan was absent. The motion carried. So to Commissioner Jordan, real fast, were you able to watch the?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you'll be
And,
fully engaged.
And then I believe Commissioner Lodge was not on the part of the commission yet.
I did watch the previous hearing.
Okay,
I did watch the previous hearing.
perfect. Okay, so you're going to be fully engaged as well. Okay, great. All right,
Yeah.
now.
So let's just start with what has changed in the project. These are minor changes, but I want you to see them. I think it's best to see them on the landscape plan. So first of all, we added a little mailbox structure that is basically a charming little gable structure with mailboxes on 2 sides, and then it's also, the owner has requested parcel drop-off. So we'll show you that in a moment. We'll stay on this plan, and then in the back, we have had to add a switchgear room. So we've bumped out a little lean-to off the back here, and as usual, we have to also have a transformer, which you see there. So this, again, just as a reminder, this is in the AB 2097 district, so it does not have parking. It will be interesting to see how this works. My hope is that it does result in reduced rents for these units because they aren't paying for parking, and obviously, parking is available in the parking structures, especially lot 12, now that it's not going to be torn down. So while we're on this plan, Nicole, you want to talk about the paving, which was the item
7.
7, thank you.
So the last time we were here, the commission thought it should be more EPV, traditional style, and I think that was, I don't have the old plans with me, but we simplified basically the pattern, this herringbone pattern. Before, we had a mix of patterns, like running bond and then herringbone and then back to like a horizontal running bond. So now it's all herringbone permeable paver, and I have the pavers here because there was another discussion about cut face, which I think was just a error. We were never proposing a cut face paver. This is, sorry, it's a full-size paver.
Jesus.
This is the pedestrian paver. The color is called Dune. It's kind of a warm gray. It's a 5x10 paver, the closest we can get in permeable pavers to a traditional brick format.
Maybe we'll park them there.
Oh, yeah.
And this one is the vehicular paver. It's really just darker gray.
City TV, if you could zoom down here.
And then I also have a concrete color if you want to see. There's
Sure.
Where we're under the roof, we don't have to use, or we can't really use the permeable paving, and so we have private patios and other walkways that will be a Mesa Buff sandblast type finish.
Great.
And then we're also, Nicole and I talked about this just at the beginning. We ended up with a little bit of an extra area where that transformer is, if you want to scroll down to that, Nicole. And, well, it's not showing on the TV right now.
And actually, yeah, City TV, thank you. We can go back to the screen.
So we are going to add a tree in this location, this open area, as a result of that transformer, and that just didn't get in. So let's move to, Steve, to 201, A201. We can talk about some of the other changes. Now, on the right there, that has not been updated. I apologize, but we're going to show you samples. But I think the most important change here is on the fourth level. We did not have that fourth-story balcony covered before, and we felt that that was probably not a good idea, so we basically extended little broken slope extensions, and that'll be the same detailing. All of these columns are chamfered. The wood columns are chamfered. They're 8x8, I believe, so they're nice and sturdy. You can just see there the little mailbox element that is right there. Okay, and that, I think, if you want to just jump to that sheet, Steve, it's wherever it is. You know where it is? Okay. So it's just a simple little gable that'll have a header over the top, and then, as I mentioned, there's going to be a parcel box, big element in the inside, and then the two mailboxes will be recessed off to the side. Let's go back to 201 and talk about colors. So we thought about your comments, and ultimately, I think what we really think we ought to do, and by the way, this is maybe partially influenced by Jacaranda Court, which is just a stone's throw or a gas station throw away.
Go over a gas station.
So we're going to propose a green for all the windows for the residential. And then I think we ought to just stay consistent with the awnings and go with this dark green awning color. So that would be true to for the awnings there in front on the commercial building. And instead of the cobalt blue, I think we thought just doing a pattern like this would be a little more subtle, not necessarily adding a lot of pizzazz, but a little more interesting than just the cobalt blue. So those windows, by the way.
Oh, yeah. City TV, can you come down to the desk here?
And then the windows that are showing now before they switch, those would be,
Yeah, thank you.
those would be different. Those we'd just make as a nice, clean anodized aluminum, bronze aluminum color. And then, of course, all the wrought iron will be a black or a really black-green kind of a color. As long as you're zoomed in on that. We made very little minor changes. This is, I call this the Sheila Lodge Tower. But you can see right there, we've just cleaned this up a little bit and simplified it, and we added a little lean-to roof over the elevator door. So we don't have the finial detailed yet, but you will see that when we come back for final. We don't have the color yet. We've not chosen the color for the Bates House, so that will return. And let's look at actually that middle section, Steve, if you'll zoom in on that. This kind of shows, I think you'll see all of the mechanical, our little split systems. So we just basically have a lot of these little suitcase-sized condensers on the roof. And then there are the hot water tanks. It's a common hot water heating system, and so there are hot water tanks up on the roof there as well, and you can see that those will not be visible. We show solar panels now. Those are just to be, we basically by law have to accommodate for them. At this point, there's no intention to put them in. If they ever go in, the intent is that we would remove the roof tile under the panels, and so they would drop down and be relatively flush. But I'm not sure if or when that would happen. So I think that addresses most of the items. I don't know, Nicole, if you had anything to add. I guess we should. Let's go to we didn't zero in on the rear. Yeah, okay. So there's the light fixtures we're proposing. And those will be basically at each doorway of the units and also sprinkled along the ground, at the ground level. So there's that little pendant is in the mailbox area, for example, and there at that little bridge. And then go back, Steve, to A201. I wanted to just show that little electric room. We do have, the meter boxes are exposed in the corners of that, so I guess you can't, yeah, so you can see. So that is going to be exposed, but obviously back off that alley in the corner, and then that's that little electric switchgear room that is attached to the stairwell. So more to come, but that, I think, at least brings you up to speed on the changes and where we are. Happy
Great.
to see this moving forward.
Could I mention the fencing and the gates, actually? Because it would be nice to get your input on that. Okay. Going back to this little frontage area here, there was a trellis proposed. It was pushed back. This thick dash line is a compensated setback. So we couldn't put the trellis up here, and we wanted something that would feel like a gateway entry moment along with the Victorian. So what we've done is we now just have this gate out front with a little arbor over it. So it would be a wood arbor, metal mesh gate, and then metal fence. And so I'll show you the detail for that. And then if you recall, this is like a bike room. So you can go in and residents have this bike storage area, and we added guest to bike parking. Also beyond the gate, so you go in and then there's the bike parking by the mailbox and a little seating area here. So now I'll go to the detail. This sheet has has all the gate details.
Pinch thing to touch me.
Thanks. So we've got just a metal fencing and then a metal mesh gate and regular wood fencing on the perimeter. And then here's the trellis, which is just pretty simple. We're not showing the detail here in the elevation, but the gate mesh is this kind of star pattern, traditional star pattern, bronze, typical steel. And then all of the balconies have a metal vertical picket balcony, so we're just doing a simple metal fence. And because it's right on Carrillo, I should have shown you this in the plan, but we're proposing a hedge basically in front of the fence so that there's some privacy for the residents and some noise mitigation. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, if that completes your presentation, let's go to public comment.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. At this time, I don't have any speaker slips for in-person public comment. If anyone in the room would like to speak, you can approach the podium at this time. But I'm not seeing any movement. We do not have any participants online with us, and we did not receive any written correspondence for this item, so I'll give it back to you.
All right, thank you. All right, to the commission for questions. All right, Commissioner Lodge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I noticed on the sheet showing the light fixtures, they're cobalt blue. Are you going to be changing them to?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. That legend on the side was incorrect, so we have to correct that legend.
Okay, so they will, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a quick question, Chair.
All right.
Can we see that, I couldn't see over the computer here, the color of the awning, the green?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should probably get it
Maybe
onto
put it on the-
City TV too.
Maybe I'll let you find it again.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
There.
Don't.
And is that the awning for, because we had blue?
We'll do
It's
that.
all
I'm going to do that
everywhere?
for all the awnings.
Everywhere.
I'm gonna-
All right.
Yeah, I'm going
Is
to do
it
that.
this one or this one?
No, it's the
Okay,
dark. Yeah.
Darker one? Okay, great. Thanks, City TV. We can hand it down.
Yeah,
Unless you want that yellow.
yellow's nice.
That was the next one. That's
Yeah, I mean. An ivy fern.
all right, great. Can you hand that over to me?
Okay, thank you. And then the doors and windows are that really dark green, right? That,
On the residential, yes, and then the storefront would be a bronze.
okay. Okay, great. Yeah, right. Okay, thank you.
All
Let's see,
right.
was that the-
Other questions? Could be.
Could be.
Two of them. All right. Other questions for the applicant? All right. I had one question. Can you zoom into to Commissioner Lodge's tower? Okay, so those little bumps on the bottom, little plaster bumps, tell me about them.
Well, just kind of little, yeah, bollard. They're not finials, but yeah, just to give that a little bit of a base as it transitions to that sloped roof.
Okay. Okay. I've normally seen them in, as for transitioning to garage, like the Spanish
Out of
garages.
granite.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, right, and out of granite, that's true. Okay, that was it for questions from me.
I have a question regarding
Yeah.
that
Yeah, Commissioner.
tower. Is that roof, is that the minimum height of that roof? Of the upper element?
It goes above the height restriction.
You mean, is that,
Could that be dropped down 2 feet and not affect the elevator?
I think where we have that gutter, well, no, it actually seems higher, Steve. In other words, is the overrun,
The overrun is, this roof is set for the overrun. This one is not.
That tower, it looks leggy, and I don't know that it needs to be that tall. And it will even look more leggy when you're looking at it from the ground. I'm just wondering if that couldn't be a little less height to that tower, that final element.
You better talk to Miss Lodge.
Yeah, why are you asking him?
It's her tower.
She proposed that height, and
No, she did not. We originally did not have a tower per se. We just had the elevator and a simple hip roof. And Sheila suggested at Planning Commission that it would be nice to have a little bit more of a tower. I mean, proportionally, it feels right to me, but if you think it should be lowered a little bit, we can study that.
I'm just thinking out loud, so.
It's going to be a future cell tower.
That's what those,
Yeah.
that's what those things are.
If you make your niche out of fiberglass,
If I can switch to comment, I think that the
Go for it.
the roof over the elevator door is way too high to be offering protection. And I think that roof element ought to be dropped down, 2 or 3 feet.
Agreed.
Make it comfortable. So,
And we'll just have to be careful with the knee braces.
yeah,
The
whatever, or
obstacle.
use kickers there and do something else, whatever.
okay. I guess that we're rolling to comments. That sounds good. Let's,
Let me finish my comments, then, if you don't mind.
yeah, go for it.
I find it interesting.
Uh-oh.
I find it interesting that we have mail and parcel drop at the very front of the property, at the street, closer to the street, and there's no stopping on the street. Why don't we have the parcel and the mail back towards the back where the alley is, and make it easier for the mailman and the driver, whatever, the brown, to drop stuff off? It's not a question as much as a comment. So I just,
Was it, well, let's turn into question, was there a consideration of that?
yeah,
Was
was
there-
it, yeah, well, I'm sure there was consideration of it. They just,
Yeah, to be
I mean, this-
honest, I always thought of it coming off the front. I was imagining a mailman with a bag. and
Yeah, I would agree,
Walking
but-
along the sidewalk.
but, they're driving and dropping, at that point, and particularly the brown, or FedEx or whatever, they gotta park in the back and get all the way to the front.
Site plan. I mean, I think probably the answer to the question or the query is that we really probably don't have a lot of room
Yeah.
in the back to make it a special little feature, because there's just, there's nothing there. There's trash and the transformer and that one EV.
And they're
But
gonna stop
actually, in
wherever they're
theory,
gonna stop.
in theory, they could go through the back as
Sure.
well, and
Sure.
just stop and come to, and drop off, and then.
Oh, yeah, they will.
The residents don't have parking, so
No,
they're
they will,
probably
they
gonna
will
go
stop
off
at the
street.
back, there's no
Yeah.
question about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question about it.
They'll stop in the
Until the
street.
postmaster writes the owner and says, it's too far to walk.
That's right, I'm gonna charge extra. Okay,
The
so,
other comment that I have is, I think your awnings on the west elevation help that elevation a lot. And maybe you could put them on the east elevation as well. Go down and find the west elevation.
Yeah, it's right there. That's the west.
can you zoom in there?
Or that's the east, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the east and the west is above.
Yeah, good. So we got these nice awnings there that show up in the rendering on the first sheet of the drawings. And I think, well, gosh, why couldn't you have those on the east side as well and help break up that elevation?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we thought of them in terms of sun control more
Yep,
so
yep,
than
yep.
breaking up the elevation, so they're really not doing any work on that side. And that's the reason why we put them on the,
And they're expensive.
well, they do get dirty.
Yeah, they drain their, their rock and fall off, whatever, I know.
Clean them and.
But it's just that's a pretty basic elevation.
It's basic.
Do you have a perspective that looks at it from an angle of the
I
street?
don't think we do in this set, no. I mean, we can bring that back at final, no, to show those views. There is a building, there is a building right next to this, obviously, at that eastern side.
Yeah, yeah, that's, I'm wondering if because there might also be that you don't ever see this elevation strongly enough for it to be boring.
Can they show the picture that you have in the set at the beginning? Because that's where you're coming in from from the freeway.
Yeah, I mean, that's
That
the,
one,
west, right?
that-
yeah, but that doesn't show the
Doesn't show the whole
east,
thing, but you
obviously.
do see that, that's.
Yeah, no, I think it makes total sense both practically and design-wise, because it's such a show, because you have the one-story, what gas station right there, so you really see that elevation. I'm just wondering, and my hunch is you don't really see the other elevation much at all comparatively, based on what the trees and whatever else is on the other side. And this one's the main shot in terms of what you see.
Yeah, we did show, we did have that little video fly around
Yeah.
that we showed you at PDA, but I'd be happy to bring it back.
Okay. All right. Let's roll into continued other comments. And Commissioner Ansberg, did you want to go?
Sure. Okay, I will, thank you, always, and I'll just check down here. I really like the paving that you simplified. I think that's great. I really appreciate that. I think we oftentimes get really crazy with paving patterns, and I think just keeping it really simple is nice. So I really like that. I support the fourth floor covered patio element, the little roofs there. I think those are great. I love the little mail building. It's awesome. I look forward to see what the Bates House colors will be. I love the light fixtures. On the tower, I'm fine with it, but I wonder if you might study, maybe it feels to me like it could be a little wider. I don't mind the height, everything about it, but it just feels a little skinny. So I don't know if it could possibly be a little thicker or, wider.
Are you,
Well,
leggy.
leggy.
and skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
as you know,
So if you
as you
dropped it-
drop it down, it'll get wider visually.
Well, I don't like the idea of bringing that
I want to
down.
Commissioner Ansberg, are you talking about just the top of the tower?
Just the top of the
Okay.
tower, just
wanna
that
make
top
sure we're
piece,
clear. Okay.
to where those little bollard things are, just to kind of,
Yeah.
but I like the idea, I wouldn't change the roof, just that. So that's just a comment, and then the other,
So can I clarify, you wouldn't change the roof that Ed was talking about over the
No.
door?
no, that one, yes, you
Okay,
should
okay.
change. No, I'm talking about the roof on the tower itself. Okay, and then, so to the colors, I'm looking for that pizzazz. I like the tile that you did. I think that's great. I love it. It's very Santa Barbara. It's playful and fun. I feel like the dark green, it looks like black. I liked it when it was that sort of celery green that you have in the, before. I was looking at the elevation and I loved how they were lighter color and it was, looked like a color. Whereas this green is just so dark, it looks like black. So I don't think it's bad. I just think it's an opportunity to just bring a little bit of that pizzazz thing we were talking about. So if it could have more color, and same thing for the awnings. And just as a general comment, the colors, when you have like a yellow awning or an orange awning, the color that comes through is so beautiful on your skin underneath, whenever you're underneath those kinds of colors. It really enlivens a lot. So just something to think about. And then finally, the entry gate. I feel like it maybe should be, could you look at possibly making it plaster? It feels like it doesn't really go with the building, although I know you do have, wooden elements, but maybe a plaster piece?
Let's talk about that, because I was.
Did you have, those were all my,
similar-
those were my
Okay,
comments, so go ahead.
Let's have a discussion maybe about this, because in my mind, I get what you're trying to do. You're connecting two totally different stylistically buildings, right? So now the question becomes like, what is the connector piece, the fence, the gate, the trellis, the passage? So, and I could see different arguments different ways. I'm wondering, this looks like you've simplified Spanish down to a super simple level, so it's almost non-committal, but it's not Victorian, it's not free classic. And I'm wondering, and I know there's a hedge in front of both sides. The sides really almost go away. But I'm wondering is there a profile in wood or in iron or in something that can almost be between the two or almost work with both, in the sense that is it something that's just wrought iron and not the wood at all, And then wrought iron, there's Victorian wrought iron, cast iron especially, and then there's also wrought iron. And is there some pattern that you can find that kind of, it could be either one or is close to both, so that it can be the stitching element without having to take sides?
Or do we just keep it simple? I mean, do we just do away with that wood element altogether?
Yeah,
And just let
yeah,
it, I
and
mean,
just
especially as Nicole mentioned, if we have the hedge there, is it just really simple? Is it just the two buildings with a beautiful hedge and gate between them, and we just don't have the
Yeah.
wood at all?
And then you don't
Especially
have-
since we've added that mailbox
Yeah.
element.
Chair?
Okay, yeah. Commissioner Ensberg?
Well, I think you could, obviously you could do that. I was thinking about, what is it called? The Alma, the housing.
Pueblo?
Yeah, Alma del Pueblo, thank you. You know, that has like a really nice, more detailed gate that's more, I just think this is, your entry gate is always such an incredible opportunity to do something that's a little bit more of a statement. So I would urge you to do, something more along those lines. And if you wanted not to have the wooden part and just do a fancy gate or something like that, I think just punch it up and make it be a little bit more romantic.
Okay, so I think where we might be able to just land is restudying this, and that currently it's not doing it. And so,
Right.
yeah, come back with another proposal or two of what you think might work well. Okay. All right, does that work for you too? 'Cause-
Yeah, I thought, the building is pretty basic in its design, and here's an opportunity to add some whimsy or destination or place name or something. Yeah, so I would encourage you to go further with it. It's just jumped out at me when I first looked at it. I thought, wow, here's
Or a
here's
little
an
hanging light
opportunity to-
fixture. or
Yeah,
something.
but maybe more in iron
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
in not introduce the
I
wood.
like the
Yeah.
pattern of that
Yeah.
you're proposing. That's wonderful. Look at how fun that is.
Yeah.
And how enlivening. So let's,
Okay.
I did have a question I forgot.
Yeah.
Is there a roof over the mail room?
Yeah. It's a little,
Little
it's a
structure.
little structure. It's a little
It's a Spanish.
gabled roof.
Let's go to that real fast, make sure we're clear on it, and then we'll continue with Commissioner Ensberg if there's any other comments that you have, and then I just wanted to have that discussion because it was.
Yeah.
it was
Well,
some-
I guess in general, I just want to say I'm very supportive, and I think
Okay.
it's a great project, and I think you guys have done a great job, and just hurry up and get it in.
Get it built. All right, and then Commissioner
Yeah, just
McClure, and
one
then we'll go
thing,
to Commissioner
just
Lodge.
back to that entry gate, you could get a vine out there to kind of give it a little more green on some iron, no wood, that's all.
Okay. Including, but the architecture could be good too.
Or cover the architecture with the vine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty basic.
Personality. The building needs
All
some
right,
personality.
Commissioner Lodge?
I think a small tower on top of the elevator.
No, I think you're gonna put it down the.
It's called the lantern, is that correct?
It could be.
It's called the lantern.
Yeah. And then Commissioner Lodge?
To my tower.
Yes.
I think it actually, it's called my tower because when it came before the planning commissioners aren't supposed to comment on architecture, but this planning commissioner quite often did.
That's why she's here now. Now she has to stay in purview.
And
Yeah.
I said that it didn't have the courage of its conviction as a tower. It was too small for could you bring up the elevation from Carrillo Street, the whole frontage, including the cottage moved?
No, just the elevation with the cottage, I think is,
Yeah, because
or no, maybe we don't have the cottage on this, do we? No, so go to the
Oh.
cover, go to the cover.
Yeah, well, you can't see the tower is
Right.
invisible at all
Yeah,
in this.
that's right.
Anyway, I think when the whole thing is looked at, that it could be a little wider.
Well, I mean, look, admittedly, it's a quick glance, but you're gonna see this from the freeway.
Yeah. No, for sure. And actually, is the tower updated on this rendering?
I don't
I-
remember.
It's poking up
Right there.
I'm wondering if that's the old tower.
Yeah, I
or
don't
is
remember.
Height-wise. Yeah, I think might be the old roof. Okay, so, anything else, Commissioner Lodge, that you wanted to?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, Commissioner Butler, Commissioner Jordan? No comments. All right, and I'll summarize it with, my only addition is just the tower discussion. So I'll summarize, this is in progress, right? So there's no final appeal action, so I'll summarize our comments. So, first, the commission thanks you for the applicant and team for their continued hard work and beautiful development. We'll keep that one.
Start with a positive.
Yes. Now,
Reject your criticism and then end with a ray of hope.
that's right. Now, as Commissioner Lodge's tower. So let's start. We'll start with the tower. My additional comment on it, I think it's just a matter of continued study for it, refinement. Either making it wider, as one commissioner suggested, or less leggy, as another suggested, making it shorter.
No, don't make it shorter.
Okay. Well, you'll hear they'll hear this. Refined
Yes.
proportions and detailing. My opinion on the bollard move is they feel a little too much like a bollard right now. Refine them in some way to me, make a more tower element. If they could still have a pop out, but and I would say especially taking care of your chamfer as well, or taking into consideration your chamfer, because that might have to come up or give it more space or something. Anyways, those details as well as the tower proportion to continue to refine and develop with the comments that the commission has provided. The light fixtures are acceptable as proposed. The entry gate trellis from Carrillo, to restudy it with thinking about how, or developing how to bridge the two buildings and styles. To the materials, let's see. Update material. The materials as proposed of the hardscape and the design of the hardscape are acceptable as submitted. The materials board to be updated, material board to be updated per the proposed from this meeting. The tile, new tile design for the storefront is acceptable and it's very appreciated. The colors of the awnings and windows, I would say two questions. One is, as the colors that they have proposed, are they acceptable? And then that's the first question. The second question is, do we still want to see some other options to preferring more color or pop, with noting that, because I haven't heard anyone say that the green was not acceptable. Commissioner Ensberg said it wasn't great, and that other color might be greater and have more life. But I guess the first part is just the current ones, are they acceptable if
Yes.
as submitted? And I think everyone's shaking their head yes, and Commissioner Ensberg.
Yeah, I feel strongly.
Okay, so then it would be the majority, the majority.
Not that they're not acceptable, they're completely, perfectly acceptable. It's
Okay.
not that. But I think that it's a lost opportunity in our town. We have a lot of this, Santa Barbara blue, which I feel like we're losing, and I feel like that's a pop that is really important and beautiful, and that.
Yeah, okay, so that's the second part of the question is.
Look at it.
What, yeah, could, it could be the minority or the majority of the commission would also like them to come with another color too, or to have more vibrancy.
So I have a question. So you would like like that yellow that was in there next to the green?
I love that yellow, yes.
Would the other board members like that yellow?
They might not like it.
That's gotta be a real traditional color in the EPV.
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
I think that, I don't think that we're gonna get into a color selection right now.
We're not selecting the color for them.
Yeah, exactly. So
well, I just wanted to get a feel.
for the yellow, I wouldn't go yellow, okay? If I were you, I would not.
I'm going to have to work
try
on that
yellow.
one.
Yeah.
It could be more,
So here's what
We're getting sideways.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the only thing that I want to try to get is whether the commission, as the straw vote here, would say that the one is acceptable and they would also like to try some more vibrancy in the color, or that's not the direction. So though all those in favor of wanting them to do another, or to, one is acceptable, so they can keep it, and they know they got it if they want it. But that we are also asking to come with something with a little more vibrancy. So that's the first vote, or no, you're just going to accept as current.
Mr. Chair,
Vice Chair.
the project already has project design approval with the color palette that was submitted then. This is an in progress, and the fact that we're relitigating this concerns me.
Well,
that
I think
that isn't true.
No, I think there was color discussion enough that, and there is some change too, and it's still final as a color thing, and they already know that everyone here will not vote against it if they come back with the green.
Right.
So they have
Pardon
a safe.
Pardon my interruption, through the chair and to the rest of the commission. Because the colors are part of final details, it's all right for the applicant to refine them. I would suggest maybe taking a cleaner straw poll that's just like, how many commissioners would be open to seeing another color option for the awnings and windows?
Okay, that sounds good. Let's do that.
I'd like to add that I would encourage the color selection to have to do with getting dirty. Like, what's the best color that we know is going to get dirty and still be okay?
Dark.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Okay, so you've heard the different notes. Thanks, Commissioner McClure. And I do like the idea of that, because I think you've heard. So I'll make the one statement that the first part of this is going to be that the color of the greens that were submitted are acceptable, and then there might be an and or not. So who would also thinks the greens are acceptable, and they would also like or suggest that the applicant come with a more vibrant color options as well, knowing that they already have one. So who would like that to see that? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got split.
No, there was 1, 2.
There's 8. We're a split vote. So
we weren't.
Over the gate.
So
all people who enter here. No, what's the sign over the gate to hell?
Surrender all hope.
surrender all hope.
All who enter here surrender all hope.
It must work right.
Is that what our new thing over the doors is going to do?
We're getting sideways.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I want to try to wrap this up in the next 2
Do
minutes.
the vote? I
No,
counted
so
1, 2,
here's-
3,
Never gonna be
4,
last
So here's
again
the,
on your agenda.
hold on, I'm summarizing the comment. So
This is where
the
you use your
comment,
gavel.
yeah, that's true. I'm going to. First time this year. All right. So I'm summarizing comments. It's not a vote on it necessarily. So the summary of the comment is the green is acceptable as submitted, and half of the commission would like to see an additional, or would like to ask the applicant to come with additional, more vibrant color or colors that they would also like to propose. So that's it, but they've already been, at least on the record, accepted as that. Okay, let's keep moving.
I think that's it, isn't it?
So then, no, there's a few more here. So look at the awnings on the whether to
Ignore my comment.
east awnings. Okay.
Scratch that.
No,
Okay.
it's the
They're on
east.
the way.
They're on
No. Okay, so that we won't add that. That's fine. Paving, we said. Fourth floor covered patio. So everyone was accepting of the new change. The fourth floor covered patio is acceptable as proposed. The mail building is great. That we were very supportive of the new little building. And we always said light
And the
fixtures.
utility shed in the back would be
Yeah.
lumped in with that little
Yeah,
stuff.
and the utility shed is acceptable as proposed. And
That's the one.
yeah, and maybe you can put it in the middle of a paseo or something.
Oh, yeah.
Pardon my interruption
Sorry.
to the chair. Sorry, staff is having trouble keeping track of the minutes because there's so much side conversation and
Okay,
interrupting.
sorry.
So if you can just
All right.
re-summarize.
This is 2026. We're going to be a new HLC. We're
It
going
is
to
being
have
recorded.
So if you can just go back to the commission's support, there was like a little mail building.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then there was
So the
someone
mail,
had
so the
utility
mail,
shed and the
yes,
utilities.
okay. So the mail building, the new proposed building for mail and packages delivery is acceptable as submitted, as designed. The fourth floor covered patio mentioned was also acceptable as submitted. The entry gate, have we talked about the
Yes,
entry gate? Yeah, we did.
We studied the entry gate.
Yep. And then the tower, we talked about that, restudying, and that's it.
The electrical room on the
Oh,
back.
sorry, the electrical room on the back.
The utility shed.
The utility shed, electrical room on the back is acceptable as submitted, as designed.
And you mentioned that the paving, yes?
Yes.
You mentioned
Mentioned the
that.
painting was acceptable, and the
mentioned
pattern.
The,
Light fixtures.
the light fixtures, and you mentioned, the tile.
And the tile, I did mention that was acceptable. Oh, and I
then we
also.
look forward to the Bates House.
Yes.
Yeah,
Whatever.
and then we look forward to the Bates House being a restored historic resource. And I also have, because I had the last meeting's minute notes on this one, to include picnic tables.
I'll make a motion
No,
for.
but that's not part of it. Scratch the picnic tables.
I'll make a motion for an indefinite continuance with those comments.
Second.
All right, I heard Commissioner Butler beat you a little bit, Commissioner Hansberg. So for the second, all right, any other discussion? All right, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair Grumbine. I'll begin with Commissioner Ensberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Lenvick. Yes. Commissioner McClure.
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge.
Yes.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes?
Commissioner Jordan.
Yes.
Vice Chair Uli.
Yes.
And Chair Grumbine.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Keep great. Thank you for your great work. All right. So, is there anything else, or we can adjourn? All right. So this meeting is adjourned.